Thank you.
All right. The next case I have is Tony Ivey, 24 TR 13938. Tony Ivey.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Tony Ivey. I-V-E-Y.
Thank you. Do I have Officer Rochelle?
Yes, Judge. I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. And Mr. Ivey, you have been cited for a pedestrian obstructing or hindering traffic. Do you understand your rights as I've explained them to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you want to maintain your not guilty plea and have a hearing? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, understood. So I'll place both of you under oath. Do you both swear or affirm that the testimony you give this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
do.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Ivey, the officer will go first since he issued the citation.
All right.
You waiting call.
Officer Rochelle, when you're ready.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. On the above date and time, I was working in uniform patrol. I was in a marked GPD unit. I was responding to what started out as I guess some kind of verbal disturbance between the defendant and a complainant who had called GPD to report that a truck hauling a lawn equipment and trailer was completely blocking the westbound lane at the above location. Upon me arriving, making contact with the original complainant, which was not Mr. Ivey, came back to make contact with Mr. Ivey, who was reportedly, he advised us that he was working for doing lawn maintenance services to the car dealership that was at the location. And I advised him that based on the disturbance and the reasons why we're there, the violation was clearly evident. And Mr. Ivey just felt that he had permission to be at the location, to be parked at that location. And I guess, pointed out that the dealership had other, I guess, delivery semi-trailers that were blocking at the said location. And I advised him that at this time right here, based on what we did, I can only deal with him at the time. And as far as the other violations, that I could only deal with one situation at one time. Based on my investigation at the scene, Mr. Ivey at one point advised me that, he wasn't going to, or feel like he wasn't going to, or didn't have to move his vehicle because he was at the location with permission from the dealership. I advised to him that the dealership does not have the authority to supersede or overrule state statutes in reference to the free-flowing traffic of any street, highway, or thoroughfare in the city of Alachua County or Gainesville, and that if he didn't move the vehicle, that he was going to be cited for the statute or lane violation. At one point, he didn't want to produce his identification. At one point, Mr. Ivey was told if he didn't produce the proper identification and information, that it was going to result in criminal charges reference to obstruction of justice. During this whole deal, Mr. Ivey was very uncooperative, but I think we spent over an hour at the location trying to resolve the situation to the point where Mr. Ivey was not going to, or did not, or we didn't want to arrest him, but if he didn't cooperate with my request, that it would result in an arrest. So at one point, I was able to give his information, and I issued the said citation.
Understood. Mr. Ivey, do you have any questions for Officer Rochelle?
I have questions and comments, Your Honor.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to say I've been working there for about 1.5 years. I've been parking there. Well, I work with another guy. We both park along the west side. I also do yard service all over different places in Gainesville. I park on the side of the roads when I do those yards. I put my cones out. I cut grass. I've never, and there's hundreds of us that do yards. I've never ever been stopped by, or the police have come to me and said that I'm hindering traffic or whatever. Now, I want to get to this part here. First of all, I sent some pictures I don't know if you got the pictures that I sent
I
of
see
my
it
sister.
in the court file, yes.
Yes, okay. So in those pictures, I have several, about maybe 8 or 9 of them, and I think I accidentally gave them all to them, but I can go through it. I think picture number 1 is the red and black Mercedes parked by an oak tree. That's normally where I normally would park at when I come to do the yard. On that day, I had left about 11:10. I went to get lunch. And when I came back, like I said, it's a car dealership. There are car haulers all the time, dropping off, uploading and unloading cars. On that particular day, I didn't park where I normally park. I pulled further down because the car haulers were on the right-hand side. It was 3 of them there. I didn't take pictures of them because I didn't know I was going to be in this situation. But I did take other pictures. If you look in those files of cars, of car haulers and people, back and forth, in that area. Also, I like to say that road is 28th place. That's the road I'm talking about. And so in the very back of that building, in the very back, I think there is a building, well, they do some kind of dumping back there. I see the mixer trucks going back there. I see the paper shredding truck going back there. I see the roll-off trucks going back. They're going back and forth. I'm not there every day, but the days I am there, I notice this. So when I came back from my lunch, instead of parking where I normally park, I parked. If you look at that picture where they have me at, where they gave me the ticket, I parked there. And I parked there because the car haulers were on the opposite side. So I parked further down so the other vehicles that was going to go through to that place and go by me and go by them. So when they went by me, they had to go outside of me to get past me. And when they came back up, you had to go on the other side to get past them. It started with this guy. I don't know who he was, but he worked back there somewhere. When I pulled my vehicle up and was getting out of my truck, I saw him. It appeared that he was going to go across, but he turned and he came up to where I was at. I think he was on a golf cart or ATV, whatever that was. He came up to me, and I was standing behind on the backside of my trailer. I was getting one of my tools out so I can go back up and finish the outside of that area where I was cutting. And the guy came up to me. He was real close to me. He was sitting in his vehicle, and I was standing, so he was almost eye level. He was about maybe a foot, maybe 2 feet from me. And he began questioning me, asking me why I'm parked there. And I'm like, it's very obvious. You see, I got my lawn equipment. And because he began to talk to me, and I said to that guy, this is a public road. I said, I'm cutting grass here. And, I told you got a problem with me here, you go talk to the dealership over there. And he kept talking, and I told him, I said, it was hot. I'm not going to deal with it. So I told him, I said, sir, get out of my face. I don't have time to talk with you. And when I told him that, I turned around and I got on my lawnmower. I went back up, and it was about 35 to 45 minutes after that. I didn't know he had called the police or anything like that, but it all stemmed from that. Because all this time before, the officers have come through there. None of them have never stopped and said, sir, you can't in traffic, you can't park here. None of them. They've come through there lots of different times. So it was about 35, 40 minutes later, I was finishing up at the front of the building, out, in the front. So I was in my lawnmower, I had run out of string. And so I was getting ready to go back there. I saw the first, it was I think it was 2 or either 3 cars. I saw the first one, which may have been Officer Rochelle. I think he went down, as he stated, and talked to that guy. I don't know what that guy said or how he said it, but then I saw him come back. Then I think he also circled into the building from the opposite entrance. He circled in there. I was watching him. So, but I didn't pay no attention. I'm like, I don't know what they're here for. But then when I saw that he circled back around and he parked behind my truck and trailer. I was already about to head her, so I went on over there and I was on the sidewalk. And that's when we began to talk. Officer Rochelle asked me, he said, "What's going on?" And
Okay.
I'm like, well, I
So,
said
hold
to
on,
him, "You
Mr.
tell
Ivey,
me."
Mr. Ivey, I gotta cut it a little bit shorter here. I just have a question. So to Officer Rochelle, you cited him for parking on the sidewalk?
No,
No,
no, no, for obstructing, a line of traffic.
Okay.
Um,
Says
like I
pedestrian.
said before, well, when I looked at it, it's not, it should have been that statute that was going for, in that, it should have been obstruction, with a vehicle. At the time, when I was talking, addressing Mr. Ivey, referencing the said violation, I asked him if he had any kind of permits or anything like that as well, but the
no,
statute, when
sir.
I pulled it up on the computer to issue the citation, that was the one that came up.
Okay, and it does say obstructing free, convenient, normal use of public street or highway or road.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Okay, Your Honor, my thing says charge pedestrian obstructing hindrance. Your Honor, and he also, well, if that's the case, when that guy came to me, why come that I'm the black man? Why come he didn't go to those three white guys who were in those car haulers? He didn't go to them and say, "Hey, why y'all parking there?" He came to me, and after I told him to get out of my face, also this guy told me, "Why didn't I park? Why didn't I park, ma'am?"
Mr. Ivey, I'm gonna ask Mr. Rochelle, Mr. Ivey saying that there were other people parked in similar manners, but they were not cited.
Okay, and Your Honor, as I said earlier,
Incoming message.
I tried to explain to Mr. Ivey that at the time, that I could only deal with one violation, said violation at the time. And I even talked with a dealership owner that which Mr. Ivey was employed by, who also advised to me, and if I would have known, I should have submitted, maybe I should have submitted the my body worn camera, which was the whole incident was recorded, and in reference to violation, and even the owner said that Mr. Ivey could have parked on the property. So Mr. Ivey's vehicle and trailer was in violation, and I advised him that I could only deal with one violation, say a violation at one time.
Okay,
So
I
during the
understand.
whole,
I understand. I've got the full
Okay.
picture. Okay, Mr. Ivey, I
Okay.
understand as well.
Your Honor,
Just
I
finally,
had
Mr. Ivey,
I can't hear you.
just finally, any last words?
Yes, ma'am. I want to say something too. Your Honor, I had a 6-minute video. The guy that he was talking about that came out, the dealership, let me say this to you. I cut grass. When the guy came out, that same guy said to him, "All of this for cutting grass." That's what he said to the officer. Now it's on his video camera, is mine. I didn't know how to submit that. But anyway, that's what he said. Now that same guy, he said, "Well, Mr. He said, Tony, why don't you can park up on the grass now." Okay, but this is my thing. I cut grass all over town, different places. And ma'am, I don't know if you have a yard service or not. But if I was your yard service, would you want me to park my truck on your grass that I'm cutting? Or would you like me just to park out by the road and do like most of the yard people do? They park the cars, they put the cones out, cut grass, and move on. This guy he was talking about, he told me, "Why didn't I go down there and park in that cul-de-sac?" I say, "Sir, I can't park in a cul-de-sac because the car haulers use that to turn around and they go back and forth. I can't park there."
So, Mr.
Now,
Ivey, Mr. Ivey, I need to
ma'am.
stop you there because we've got to conclude the hearing.
I understand. I understand. But I was just trying to make my point clear that when he said that the guy told me, when he said what he said, that same guy he was talking about, and if he had submitted his body cam, or if I had did mine, you would have seen the whole interaction, because I asked the officer, did he have his body cam on? And he,
Mr. Ivey, I need to just conclude the hearing here. I've got the testimony. I've reviewed the pictures. Here's the challenge, Mr. Ivey. Again, I can't fix an interaction that did not go well or was unsettling. I can't do that. That's not what I do. What I have to do is I have to look at the citation, listen to the testimony. I understand that it may be frustrating that other people were not cited for similar behavior, but I can't address that. What I have to address are the facts given the citation. And it does appear that you violated the citation 316.205 number 1. So I'm going to, the fine is $57.50. I'm going to withhold adjudication. I'll give you 60 days to pay. So there's no points on that, but you'll have 60 days to pay.
So I have one more question. So you mean to tell me when I'm cutting grass in other areas, I can't park on the road and cut the grass like I did there? I mean, because if that's the case, because he also told me some other stuff.
I can't talk
And
about other things that haven't happened
I
yet.
understand. I just feel like I feel like I'm the black man that's getting a ticket, got to pay a ticket for something that I didn't even cause a problem, because the white man came right there and said didn't like the way I spoke to him.
really need to stop you there.
Man,
I can't address that concern.
I understand what
Your
I understand.
Your
I'm
Honor,
just my frustrated. I understand go ahead.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I just have one,
Incoming
Your Honor, I'm
message.
sorry, I had just one final request from you, Your Honor, is that if you can just stress to Mr. Ivey, whenever he is in a situation where he's lawfully contacted by law enforcement and it's for a lawful reason, that if it's for any kind of violation or any kind of investigation, that that they're asked or ask him for his proper identification, that he presents
Incoming
that,
message.
and with probable cause that he's cleared that he needs to produce his identification.
Miss Officer Rochelle, I can't give him advice about legal rights. I
Okay,
can deal
okay.
with the citation. All right, thank you both. And an order will be made. We're going to conclude the hearing now. Thank you. All
Okay,
right,
I thank you.
thank you.
Your Honor, that's my last case. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good day.
All right.